Bum Car and the Bass Racing League have been around for 3 seasons now, with many drivers trying to climb the ladder to the top of the pecking order, become champions. But unfortunately for some of them, they don't quite get there. And here, in season 3, we had quite a few of those mistakes. Whether they got absolutely demolished by their teammates, whether they were a wreck magnet and they sucked, or they failed to live up to expectations. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the top 10 worst drivers of season 3 of the Bass Racing League. Number 10, Autumn. Autumn has been a mainstay of the Bass Racing League since season 1, where she was mid there as well. In her second full-time season with the Running Bandit Racing team, she truly struggled. At a quick glance, her flaws really aren't that bad, as she still managed to halfway decent points finish. However, you look between the lines and you realize she had virtually zero pace this season. That plus that streak of awful finishes, and her teammates not only being in race winning contention, but in championship winning contention, and it lands Autumn solidly 10th on this list. Number 9, McKenna. McKenna is another season 1 veteran, however, who actually has a few wins. She's known as a road course ringer, but unfortunately for this season, she was not good. She started out the season for Silver Lightning Racing in the 54 bum truck, exactly where she was last season, where she started the first 5 races of the season, not doing particularly well. It was not good. And in turn of that, she would lose her top 35 protection, guaranteeing her into the next 5 races. So, what did she do the next 5 races? She DNQ'd every single one of them. Her highlight of her bum truck season would come at Bristol Dirt. After she finally made the race, she would lead a few laps and get out there, and truthfully, I still don't know how the heck that happened, and then she would come home 38th because some screwery happened. Then, due to poor performance, she was subsequently fired from Silver Lightning Racing. She'd be picked up by Big Apple Racing to complete the season in Lumcar in a secondary car, where she did pretty alright. A third place finish and at Watkins Glen submitted herself as a great road course racer still. However, her results outside of that weren't exactly the best. She even got a few cup starts in there. Started out the season doing some Silver Lightning races, and then Packing Motorsports called her up in the 52. Going into next season, she's going to be stuck in a Lumcar, and that's where she probably will be for the foreseeable future, as her career has just gone downhill. And that lands her number 9 on the top 10 worst drivers of season 3. Number 8, Johnny. When you're a driver who drives for Running Bandit Racing, the expectation is to do good. Johnny failed to live up to these expectations and, in fact, got his butt whooped by them. Johnny was a promising prospect last season, driving for Running Bandit Racing this season. It looked like he'll be on for a great season until the season started, where Johnny proceeded to absolutely crap the bed. 0 laps led, 1 top 10 at Bristol Dirt. I still don't know how that one happened, and got destroyed by his rookie teammate in the same equipment. Now, of course, logically, they threw him into a bum truck for a few races where he did the basically what you would expect, which is wreck and suck. Now, you would figure a career like this and a season like this would end up with him being higher on this list. Oh, but you haven't seen nothing yet. And in fact, he's going to be full-time in Lumcar again next season for Monster Racing. Lord help us all. Number 7, Penelope. Penelope should be a warning. A warning to all manufacturers looking to throw their full support behind a driver because they can suck. Pontiac threw everything that they had behind Penelope, thinking that she could be the future of their program when in fact she's not even close. And a season full of absolute disappointment. I think this clip sums up her entire career and season perfectly. Oh, we have a car upside down! Huh? Penelope! They had uh, Penelope and I believe Holden almost spun out coming to the line here. And they also have problems getting on pit road. Everyone's stacking up, I think, is what happens. Oh, Lumcar. I mean, this is the back of the pack in Lumcar. Porter Wyatt, you know, with a best finish of 20th at Talladega, and that being her only finish above a 25th place. Penelope definitely had one of the worst seasons of all time, finishing 42nd in points behind drivers who raced like 3 races. She was truly awful. And somehow she's only 7th on this list. I don't understand. Oh, by the way, she was fired from PPA Motorsports before the final race of the season because he sucked so much. But again, this is only 7th on the list. Who is in this top 5? Number 6, Talis. You knew Sly Racing had to be on here somewhere. And after the start of the season that Talis had, you would figure he wouldn't be on here. He got a P2 and a great finish at Daytona. But from there, he would DNQ 14 times. In fact, you wouldn't think he was a part of Sly Racing or that whole family if he actually watched every race because he never showed up. Even when he actually did show up for the race, he still never made an impact and was completely and utterly forgettable and serves as a warning to all owners no matter how much his sponsor pays you, you can still be totally and utterly forgettable. And that earns him the number 6 spot on our list. Number 5, Jesse Strutz. Jesse Strutz has been around since season 1 of the Bass Racing League and been known as one of the most consistent drivers in the midfield. However, in season 3, he became an absolute wreck magnet, struggling just to finish races, and therefore his numbers took a toll because of it. He's the only full-time bum car driver on here because the expectations were for him to finally get into that upper midfield, upper echelon area. But this season, he truly showed he did not have that dog in him to the point where he was traded and will be stuck in Lumcar next season, where he can hopefully regain that consistency and that form that we've seen for the past 2 seasons. Number 4, Ryan. When you join a prestigious organization like Beast Racing and a part of their sister team, Red Bull Racing, the expectation is for you to be good. At the bare minimum, maybe a top 30 in points. No, no, Ryan didn't even come close to doing that. In fact, Ryan was a different level of awful because not only did he DNQ, not only did he wreck a lot, but the thing is, he was completely irrelevant for the entire season to the point where getting photos of him for this video was actually absurdly difficult, more difficult than you would imagine. And that lands him 4th on this list. Also, his second place at Watkins Glen, just because he's a road course specialist, very, very lucky. I still don't know how he did that. So the fact of the matter is, quite frankly, Ryan sucks compared to where he's supposed to be. He was truly abysmal, and it lands him 4th on this list. But you're telling me that there's 3 worse. Oh no! Coming in with the bronze medal of suckitude. In 3rd place, Porter Wyatt. Shout out Porter Wyatt, dude. Every race, I swear, this man has a dumb moment. I'm going to have to make a compilation of it, because let's take a look at this week's one. Just drive right into the dead car and spin yourself.
Winner tonight.
Meanwhile, Porter Wyatt's still just trying to finish the damn lap right now. I don't know what happened to him, but he's going to be finishing well off the pace. Also, Jihad Way, we're getting reports he blew a motor. Porter Wyatt, you know, he didn't have his stupid moment yet. And it was shocking. He didn't. He hasn't done anything stupid yet. So he does it after the race. I guess that's an improvement. It's better than doing it during the race. But when you look up the definition of failure, the 51 of Think Fast Racing's image pops up right next to it. Because Porter Wyatt, with one of the most dismal seasons of all time, and somehow he's only third. We'll get to that in a second. Porter Wyatt started out the season wrecking. Not only did he arc break into the wreck, because he was 20 freaking seconds off before the wreck happened. Well, and then after that, he somehow got a P4 at Bristol. Truthfully, one of the most insane things ever, because I have no idea how he did it. I think he just planted his car on the bottom and just didn't allow anyone past him. That's the only explanation I have for that. What a race from him, followed by Oliver Miller's Jess. Did Porter Wyatt just get P4? Yes, he did. Tyler Cooper. But then, the dumb late Arca breaks moments, the finishing last by a mile or just finishing a mile off the pace moments, he had quite a few of those this season. It was just a complete embarrassment of that 51 because he could not do anything with it. Even though his teammates did not do a whole lot better, the difference between him and his teammates, Piggy and Ozzy Allen, were night and day. Unfortunately, we have to see Porter Wyatt in the Bass Racing League for another year because he's full time with Monster Racing and Lumcar. So he'll probably be on this list again next year. Yet a career like this and a season like this only puts you third on our list. I don't understand, but I'm going to smile and wave anyway. Number 2, Andr Bar. If your best finish of the year is a 15th at Talladega and you do nothing notable outside of that, then yeah, you deserve to be on this list. In fact, when you're so irrelevant that you're the most relevant thing that you've done all season outside of one incident that we'll get to, the most relevant thing that you did all season was be slow enough to be mentioned every time we were talking about the last place person. That's Andr Bar. Andr Bar is brought up every single time. Not only was he a massive, colossal failure who was completely irrelevant to anything and everything going on out at the track, when he did have a glimmer of hope, he absolutely failed it. I'm going to allow this clip to speak for itself. This is the only time Andr Bar was notable throughout the season, and this will be his legacy unless he becomes good, which, looking at it right now, I don't think will ever happen. Andr Bar, what did you do? Also, James Olsen got nose damage, heavy nose damage as well. I think we had a few problems. Let's watch on board with this lap. He's leading by a good chunk. Down into turn 1. Oh, he just throws it. What are we doing? Oh, my. Dude, Andr Bar, are you kidding me? You're finally leading a race and you do this. Everybody else hit the brakes. I mean, brother. You thinking you could be Jimmy Johnson just by running into the dang wall? Like, I can't tell if he locks up the brakes and then just wrecks it. Because nobody else does that. Allow me to add some context to what you just witnessed. Andr Bar somehow qualified on pole position for Watkins and was leading the first 4 laps of the race until a caution on said lap 4. When under caution going down into turn 1, he forgets what the brake is and throws it into the wall, completely ruining his race. And, well, he didn't win. Didn't do nothing. Came home with a, 40th place finish? Absolute atrocious. When that is your most memorable moment, when that is your most relevant moment and the only moment that anyone will remember of your season, that is when you know that you are truly the worst. So how is he number 2? Please tell me this list is over. I'm tired of covering these god awful drivers. Oh, hey. And number 1, the worst driver in the Bass Racing League, Season 3, primarily for Sham Motorsports, Casey. If you want Casey's season described in about 30 seconds, take a look at this absolute monstrosity.
Way they did not die.
Oh, but we may die right here. Oh, yeah, there goes Casey. There goes Steele. Oh, Casey's up and over. Oh,
Into the gas reds. Boom! Sound the back straight away into turn 3 and 4.
That's 1 and 2. Oh, no.
They look the same.
They look the same. Shout out Savage for that call of turn 3 and 4 when it was, quite frankly, 1 and 2. However, Casey was tapped to drive the 58 for Sham Motorsports. And good gosh. That wreck that you just saw was a wreck that took him out for 2 races this season. And, I mean, it didn't matter if he was in the car, if he was out of the car. The result was probably the same. Absolute trash and vomit and puke. Because Casey was not good in bum car this season. He wrecked. He had mechanical problems. He had no pace. Take all the positive things that you can put into a sentence and throw it in the dumpster. He got a P3 at Talladega, part of the Toyota 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which saved the 58 team. Because right afterwards they would trade for Quinn Allen, and in which throw Casey down to bum truck. But first, compare Casey's stats with Quinn Allen's stats, and you will realize, holy crap, these guys are garbage. Well, no, not these guys. Quinn is actually good. That's just Casey's stats throughout the season. Quinn showed that that car was more than capable and more than competent to do things. Meanwhile, Casey couldn't get that thing in above 30th place most races. Now we're back to the bum truck thing where Casey would drive the 84 for Sham Motorsports. So just a little demotion. And you would think he would do good here. I mean, he got that P3 at Talladega. There's still some promise. Well, if you actually watch Bum Truck this season, you wouldn't think he was even in Bum Truck this whole season. You know why? Because look how many times he DNQ'd. Just look. I can't even count how many he did. Look at this. Now compare this with what Caleb did in the same exact equipment before they put Casey in. What happened? Casey was completely useless to that 87 team. He was completely garbage, and therefore he was fired. Thank the Lord. Surely no one else will pick him up for any more rides. And he got picked up for a ride. In the 42, lump car. Yay. We're even in that. Considering his opposition in the same team, he got outperformed. A guy who started as a full-time bum car driver by the end of the season was getting outperformed in Lum car. That is how atrocious Casey's season is. However, this is not the worst part. Casey has now signed on for Strange Motorsports to drive the 92 and Lump car full time this year. Little issue with that, however, is the 92 was top 10 in points last year. So we very well could see Casey take yet another car and completely underperform and get obliterated by his teammates yet again. That is why Casey deserves the number one spot on this list. Because he is utterly pathetic. If you would like to join the Bass Racing League and try to keep you or your team off of this list, join. Links down below. It's a great time. Coming up soon, baby. But with that being said, these are the top 10 worst drivers of Season 3 of the Bass Racing League. Peace!